Today, I'm going to share with you the Flying Eagle cents and the Indian cents dealers want the most. These are going to be the dates and even the mints for some of them that dealers will buy. They look for often, and they look for these in sets, and a lot of people need them to fill the holes in their sets. My name is Daniel. You are watching Coin Help You. Thanks for watching my latest video. If you need help, if you have a question about coins, please go to our Coin Help You community and ask your question there. If you'd like to buy coins from us, check out our auctions and things we got going on, go over to portsmouthcoinshop.com. The link to both of these is in the description of this video and in a pinned comment. Now, let's take a look at what Flying Eagles and what Indian cents dealers want now. Before we look at these dates, this is an example of a Flying Eagle cent in bad condition. It's worn, it has scratches on it. Dealers will pay less if a coin is damaged, a problem coin has PVC on it. If it's extremely worn and slick, they can't pay that much for a coin like that regardless. Now, if it's a better date, they could pay a little bit more, but it's just going to depend on how bad the coin looks. So before we look at the Flying Eagle cents, I wanted to show that. Condition is everything. So we're looking at regular issues. We're not looking at varieties, although if it's graded, dealers will buy it. There's some dealers that will buy ungraded varieties, but most of the time, dealers want those varieties graded. So we're just talking about coins that come in the shop on a regular basis. People bring in boxes, they bring in bags, they bring in, cans and jars, or just a handful they found in a drawer. Just your regular circulated coins. So all the Flying Eagle cents are desirable, even the 1857, which is the most common. They come in the shop all the time. Large letter, small letter, and the 58. And you can see anywhere from $20-some and up. These are graded values. Obviously, I'm using PCGS, which are high retail. I can buy off other dealers at coin shows some nice Flying Eagle cents in a G4 to fine grades for around $25. So you can get a decent one for your collection in that range. Now, if you want to complete the collection, then you'll have to get into all the other varieties and all. But that's basically what we're talking about when it comes to the Flying Eagle cents. It's a very short series. But they do include it with the Indian cents and most of the albums and most of the folders that you see. Indian cents, on the other hand, I'm going to show you an image of a low-grade example here. This is what you commonly see coming into the shop. They'll have damage. You can see the scratch here, very worn, maybe some issues with the surface. It's been messed with or cleaned. So a dealer is going to pay anywhere from 25 cents up to 75 cents for common dates that come in the shop. So what you want to look for and what you want to try to find is the better dates, and we're going to take a look at those. But like I said, the lower the condition, the less that they're worth, the less a dealer will pay you. We're selling them up front anywhere from $1 to $2, and that's your common stuff. So we know 1859, 1860, 61, 62, all those are going to have a little bit of a premium on them, as long as they're not in too bad a shape. So, of course, the 1859 is the first year for the Indian cents regular issue, and it is a copper nickel. So the value, as you can see, has a little bit of a premium to it, and even down on the lower grades. But I do have a story to tell. Even though this is not a regular issue and this is a pattern, this is an 1858 Indian cent that was sold at eBay. And some people recognize it as an 1858 pattern. I just wanted to point that out because of the low grade. Most people probably wouldn't have paid attention. But this was a really cool find. It was posted in my help community a few years ago. And it, like I said, it did sell on eBay and it was just found. So obviously it was in circulation for a while. A little bit of a problem coin, but still yet, I wanted to add that story. It's pretty cool. So we'll move on to 1860. The 1860, when you're looking at the pointed bust versus the blunt, this will give you a guide to it. The pointed bust is a little more desirable. So you can see the pointed bust is going to be in the lower grades here. It can be pricey in mint state grades, which most of these are. Most of your Indian cents in the higher grades are going to be worth a good amount of money. Now in the low grades G4, you're looking at $22, and for the blunt regular bust, you can see that the values are a little bit less on these. And when we get down to G4, you're looking at 18s. Not much of a difference, but they are regular issues. Just a little change in the design. Then you have the 1864, and this is the bronze. You do have the copper nickel from 1860 through 1864, but in 1864 you have both. We'll take a look at what the copper nickels look like here. They have a different patina. They look more yellow, and they're thicker. So no mistaking those. Like I said, all those are desirable if they're problem-free as well. The 1864, and we see a lot of the 1864s. It's a very popular year, but it still has, in the lower grades, a little bit of value here, as you can see. The 1864 L on the ribbon. What's important here is that this has a pointed bust. So if the L is worn off here, then just look at the bust and see if it's pointed, because some of the lower grades are hard to identify because the L will be worn off. So if you got the pointed bust, then you know it's a 64L. That'll help you out. And this here is a clash mark, by the way. So now 1866 is another better date. As you can see, the values in the lower grades. It's a semi-key. 1867 is another one. Now, like I said, there are double dies for these. I understand that, but we're looking at regular issue. As you can see in the lower grades, $20-some, ungraded. 1868, it's another one. And I'd be taking notes here or coming over here to PCGS or looking at price guides. This is how you value things. You don't want to use an app that takes a picture of your coin and gives you a fake value. PCGS, NGC, I have an app out there on Google Play that you can download, and they've got them on iTunes as well. They'll tell you the value of your coin. I mean, you know what your coin is. You don't need an app to tell you a fake grade or a fake value. Next up is the 1869. It's a nice little semi-key date as well that you want to look for, even in the lower grades. I mean, look at that PO1, $70. That's a low grade coin right there. 1870, the lowest grade you could get, possibly. It's the lowest grade you can get. 1870 is another one. And in 30, it's 325. And in G4, it's 65. Now we're looking at high retail. I keep mentioning that, but I just want to let people know we're looking at graded values. This is just to give you an idea. Price guides are just guides. 1871. And all these pretty much in the 60s and 70s are going to have a value to them. 1872. And you can see the values here on this one. Just kind of scroll through them. 1873. Now you have the open 3 and the closed 3. And this is what they look like when you're trying to identify them. They are regular issue, just a little change in the design. There's the openings smaller in between the top and the bottom of the ball serifs. That's how you know. And as you can see, the values here in the lower grades. Most of the Indian cents that come in the shop are lower grade and problem coins. That's why a problem free is going to go for a little bit of money. Here's your 1873 closed 3, and this is the value of that. Now, some of the books do include the double dies, like the 67 over 67, but that's pretty easy to identify. That's not a hard one. That's pretty obvious. And the 1874 is another. And, you know, when you're looking at a coin in G4, PCGS has a graded price of $28. A dealer is probably going to pay you $10 for it. They're probably going to put $15, $18 on it. It's not really worth sending off for grading in G4, and it's not going to sell for $28. So that's how that works. They're going to go with gray sheet. I don't have the gray sheet up here, but you know the gray sheet's a guide for that. 1875 is another better date. You can see in the lower grades. It's not as good as the other ones, but it's still a little better. Also in 1876, it's another one. Just kind of look at the values there. And 1877. Now, this is the key date of the series, and there's a lot of fakes. So what you want to look for is this week in. All reverses of this 1877 have that week in. You can even see it whenever the coin circulated. Only one reverse die struck these. So it's very important. It must have that. There are a lot of fakes out there. And as you can see, even in PO1, $400, in G4, $650. This is a very valuable, very counterfeited coin. And I recommend getting the 1877 first and foremost, along with a couple of the other ones. Get those first, get your anchor coins in before they go up in value, because it might take you a couple years to even complete a collection if you're on a budget. 1878, I'm saying a couple years because most people are buying just a little bit at a time. If you're really aggressive about it, you can buy a complete collection. It's up to you. But anyways, this is the 1878, as I said, and here's the values in the lower grades. So a lot of semi-key dates back in the 60s and 70s. 1885. Now, 1885 is not extremely rare or anything like that. It's very available, but it's still got a little bit of a premium, even in the lower grades. So I included that one, as well as some of the others in the 80s. 1886, you got two types here. We'll show you what they look like. These are design changes. You see how the end of the feather is pointing at the C, but over here in the type 2, it's pointing towards the middle of the A and the C. That's the difference. That's how you know the difference there. Value-wise, it's a pretty common coin, but you got to have it. And in the lower grades, it does have a little bit of a premium, as we'll scroll through here and look. G4, $35. And that's for the type 2. It's the little better one. 1888. It's kind of a semi-key in a way, even though it's very available. It still has a little bit of a premium to it. So, like I said, it's one of those you don't want to just pass off for 50 cents. So it's, like I said, in the lower grades. It has a little bit of a premium. 1908S. This is one of the semi-key dates. Very popular. The only Indian cents with mint marks. And they were San Francisco mint marks. 08 and 09. Those are the 2 years. This one, very popular and valuable in the higher grades, and even a little value in the lower grades. G4, 75, high retail. And the 1909S. This is the second best key date in the series. As you can see, in fine 15, it's $500. In the lower grades, it's still worth a couple $100 or more. So you definitely want to look for those. Your 09Ss and 08Ss. There's a lot of counterfeits of the 09S and the 1877s. You really have to watch out for that. And there's other counterfeits for common dates too. Don't ever overlook a common date and think it can't be counterfeited. So anyways, now you know what Indian cents and flying eagles dealers will buy. They won't pass them up as long as they're not too bad a condition. But they'll even buy the 77 and 08S, 09S, and some of the other semi-key dates, even if they're problem coins, because they're very difficult to get and very affordable if they have problems. So a lot of people want to buy a problem coin just to fill a hole. So thanks for watching my latest video. Please like, share, and comment, and have a great day.